All right, good evening, good morning, good day, whenever this finds you. I need a little water, I apologize. I want to say to each of you that my cancer is over. Don't send me any more cancer cures. Don't send me any more cancer sympathy letters, emails, gifts, my God. I started off with about 10 to 15 emails, then it grew to 20, then it grew to 100, then 1,000, then 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 plus. And it just kept coming and coming. I did everything I could in my heart to answer every one of your emails or your phone calls. I did everything I could the last year. On October 15th, most recently, just 4 or 5 days ago, I hit my 1-year mark where chemo and radiation quit a year ago on the 15th of October. What have I been doing since then? Everything I can to show up to class, teach class, be part of the company in any active way that my staff would have me. But more importantly, working on things like trying to keep, water in my throat, in my neck, in my tongue area because I'm constantly parched. I'm still only swallowing about 7 to 10% of my food. I've got a G-tube down here in my stomach and I have to feed a syringe of nutrition into there 3 times a day. But anyway, let's get past my cancer for a minute. It's over. No more emails. No more calls, no more sympathy. Let's leave it. I believe that if we pay too much attention to these types of things, they will manifest. So it's gone. Let's talk about your emails, your phone calls, your clients, marketing, advertising, the marketing I did in my prime to become the #1 producer in this industry. The #1 email I get that irks me the most, is the man or the woman, young, medium, or old, that sits at the computer and just writes and 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 writes for what appears to be hours to me, because I couldn't write an email like that to them or any of you in any less than an hour or 2 or 3 because of the way these emails are thought out. And what they've done is they've systematically gotten rid of every piece of marketing I've talked about and said it just won't work. I've sent 50 of these, 20 of these, 90 of these, 200 of these. I've gone to Chamber of Commerce meeting, I've gone to Rotary meeting, and you're lying. You're lying. Sorry about that, but I basically went blind up close during this cancer. I had the best vision of anyone I've ever met my entire life. I was really blessed with it, but up close I cannot see, so I went to these cheap Foster Grant. They're $35, so bear with me with the glasses. Really, folks, to be honest with you, I don't care how I look anymore. I am alive, I'm here to thrive, and I'm here for you. I'm here for you because, again, like I said in class many times, if I can help you, it can help your family, it can help your friends, it can help your current situation, and more importantly than that, it can help the clients, because these clients are in trouble. Now, some of you, again, back to this advertising, are saying to yourself, I tried this, I tried that, I tried that and this, or this and that, and it didn't work. Hey man, listen to me for a second. I did the same thing. I didn't just wake up one day in 2007 and everything worked for me. I had to fight tooth and nail to figure out exactly what ingredients they love so they would eat my advertising up and become part of my belly. my marketing and advertising belly, which is what you want. You want your belly full. You want to be full of nutrition. My God, no one on the face of the planet wants this more for you, each and every one of you, than me. Believe me. Because I don't want to be in a situation where I receive those emails. They're a reflection on me. But here is what I think. I have a suspicion that you're bullshitting me. And that saddens me. I can read into bullshit, just like you can read into bullshit or BS, if you don't like the word bullshit. And there's times where I think to myself, it's like, did this guy really send out 10,000 black envelopes? Did this lady really do 10,000 Craigslist? Come on, folks. Who do you think you're lying to? You've been with the company 3 weeks? 2 weeks? A week? You can't even order black envelopes that quickly. I own the corner of the black envelope market on blackenvelopes.com and blackenvelope.com. And I know how long it takes for us to ship this stuff out because we can't get the paper. We can't get the ink. And we're not the only ones. There's 2 other manufacturers that go up against us and try to beat us, and they can't because we've got a lock on this coming in from foreign countries. So don't tell me that you sent out 5,000 black envelopes in 8 days. In the first 8 days you were with us, 10 days you were with us, 15 days you were with us. You're lying. Why would you lie? Why would you do that? Because you're a quitter. Look, the bottom line is the difference between a winner and a whiner isn't hard to differentiate between. So if you've lived in a world where you've whined all along before you ever came to this platform, all you're doing is more of the same. So why not just shift, a little paradigm shift here? Since you've been classically conditioned like Pavlov's dogs to bitch and moan, whine, a whiner versus a winner, and give it a try. Just give it a try. Try 5 black envelopes a day. Try 25 Craigslist a day. Try going door to door once or twice a day. Get your nose bloody. I didn't get this this god-awful looking nose accidentally. Football, baseball, basketball, wrestling, and getting beat up every once in a while by a consumer, whether it be a homeowner, a stockbroker, or in this industry, someone from a business loan standpoint. This isn't easy stuff, folks. Unless you apply the ingredients I taught you. That's the bottom line here. So, that being said, I want to talk about those of you that are having the time of your life, and I want to thank you. My God, I want to thank you. The emails I get, the presents I get, the excitement surrounding your life means everything to me. Recently, I got something valued at over $25,000 custom made with my name on it. This person had funded a loan, and the loan was only a little over $50,000 in commissions. So did they spend half their commission on this present? No, not at all. This is a person that last year made over $11 million, and so far this year has made a little over $9 million. And the person got me this gift. It's very common that I get these unique gifts like this, but listen to this. Every once in a while, we do what's called a tombstone ad. We send those ads out via the email, and one of you will respond, 2 of you will respond, how did she do it? How did he do it? How did they do it? Because we typically put the person's name on their first name, not last name, because when I first started in this industry in 2009 and 2010, I used to give out the first name and the last name of our independent sales reps that I taught from the ground up. And these sleazy pieces of crap, scourge, scumbag competitors would call them and steal them from me. And so I just quit giving out those last names. So on the advertisements that we send out via email, you can clearly see down below who funded the loan and how many loans they funded. Now, here's what's really funny to me. This is funny to me. Some of you absolutely lose your mind over 140 fundings year to date. Some of you actually lose your mind over 175, 200, 300 fundings to date. It says that right on the bottom, how many loans they've funded year to date. Did you not listen to me in class? I was funding over 800 loans a month. There's nothing to this. 2/3 of the staff that we have that are doing over 100 loans a year don't work full time. They work an hour or two a day. I've got people producing 300, 400, 500 loans a year, working 2, 3, 3.5 hours, 4 hours a day. I mean, this is legitimate stuff. And when you take the average loan and you call it $108,000 and some change, and we pay those people off-sheet pricing, typically 10% to 12% of the loan amount on a $100,000 loan, 10 grand is what they're making at 10%. At 12%, they're making 12 grand. They do 10 of those loans. 10 times 10,000 is $100,000. $100,000 in a 1 month period times 12 months, folks, that's over $1 million. This is common. Now, what you need to do, those of you that are saying to yourself right now, oh God, dude, don't give me any more your BS. I've had it right up to here with you and your positive attitude and your BS. Fine. Go out and look at our competitors. They're everywhere. And ask yourself this. What are they doing? Are they all lying to you also? Ha! No. I know almost every CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and almost every president of every company in this industry. And I can tell you right now, they are killing it, as is their staff. And the interesting thing about it is most of those organizations have butts in chairs, in warehouse space that's not Class A space or Class B space. This is Class C space or D space, or what I call F space, where they don't even have heaters and air conditioning, folks. They've got a swamp cooler. And under the desk, they've got a little area heater for people whose feet get cold, and people are wrapped in blankets, especially this time of year, the next 6 months. It's started to happen already on the Eastern Seaboard and in other cities throughout the United States. This industry is for real. If this industry is not working out for you, it's because you're not using the right ingredients. That's all. That's it. You're using ingredients that the fish don't like. Some fish don't like worms. Some fish don't like cheese bait. Some fish don't like meat. Some fish don't like lures. Some fish don't like flies. I got my fly fishing shirt on. There you go. Can you see it? Some fish don't like flies. You see it? Can you read it? Some fish, some business owners need you to do it just like this. And that's what I did. I studied it and I studied it. And then I got Stacy to study it. Then I got Dale to study it. Then I got Tad to study it. Then I got Dennis to study it. I got my entire 6 executive assistants to study it with me because my brain can only be so objective. So I needed some objectivity. No, I needed some subjectivity. I needed someone who was more subject than me. Not objective, but subjective. So I reached out to them. And I reached out to other ad agencies saying, hey, I need your help. I need to learn how to do this. If you said to me right now, Brett, how much money do you think you've spent looking into getting this confined into this small little area where you know for a fact, let's give it the love symbol, where you know for a fact where the business owner is going to love it. I know that just on Craigslist and on Facebook alone, I had $2.3 million set aside in a fund, and I used every bit of that money. Some of you have never made $2.3 million in your entire life. I did that in 2 ad campaigns, and I ate that money up in less than 9 months. And what happened with us was at the end, we knew exactly what to do. You can't run an ad down Facebook and expect to make money. You've got to go to the groups, RV groups, boating groups, camping groups, ladies, entrepreneur, men entrepreneurs, roofers, electricians. You've got to get in these groups and you'll tear it up. And then they have a discussion forum on Craigslist also that you can go, and they talk about money there all the time. Going door to door, going to Chamber of Commerce, going to Rotary. It's a banger. There's nothing to it. I've gone over that with you at length. You know that stuff works, or at least that's what I told you. Ask yourself what our competition is doing. I know what they're doing. I know what the CEOs are doing. They're not drinking water tonight. They're not doing videos tonight. Folks, it's Sunday night and it's almost midnight. That's not what they're doing. They're probably chasing hookers on a boat somewhere in Florida, somewhere where it's sunny, Arizona, deep south Arizona, not a lot of water there. They got to go deep south, got to go to Texas, I guess, come to think of it, got to go to California, these types of things. Or they're in bed and they don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about their staff. What they really cared about tonight was their red wine, their lobster, their vegan food, their white wine, their whiskey, their booze, and their drugs, and their cigars, and their cigarettes. It's not my style. It's not who I am. Those of you that understand the neck cancer I had right here, what I had was a HPV virus. Sexually transmitted, typically in elderly people, when they get into a new relationship after a divorce. I was a perfect candidate, having been married well in over 20 years. And Jane and I have been together now 15 years. So I was a perfect candidate for this cancer. So it wasn't as though I got this cancer from overeating, doing drugs, treating my body like crap. I was living organically. I've been living organically for 35 years. So let's go out for a moment, if you wouldn't mind, and let's talk about upcoming classes. I can't begin to tell you how many times I hear people say to me, I don't know when the advanced classes are. I don't know when the advanced classes are. I don't know when the advanced... You have a manager. You've got Ashley's email address. You've got mine. How about a nice subject line? Hey, Brett. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Grant. Hey, National Sales Manager, whatever her name is or his name is, would you mind letting me know what time the advanced classes are and what day? And in the event that I can't make it, can you email me the recording? Why would you complain? What is it with you folks? What in the hell is it with you? There's about 30% of you. It's almost like there is not a single moment that does not go by where you've woken up on the wrong side of the bed. I went over this in class. In many of my classes, I go over the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 primary emotions. Just 6, 6. So are you rooted in anger? Is that what you're telling me? Are you rooted in disgust? Because you only have 4 other choices. So maybe what you should do tomorrow when you wake up or the next day is say to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to put this outfit on anymore. It doesn't suit me. This suit of armor, this clothing I put on each day of anger, of disgust, it doesn't suit me. I can't cohabitate. And make a change. How hard is it for you to make a change, to adapt? How hard is it for you to mimic someone else? Go find a positive role model and get plugged in, which leads me to my next subject. One of you hit me with a email the other day and said, you know what I like about you, Brett? Is you tell me where you get the materials so I can go find them for myself. Hold on a minute. Listen to this. Go back before Bob Proctor, before Tony Robbins, before Carnegie, before Carolyn Mace, before John Bradshaw. Go way, way back to the 1800s and look up Alice Bailey. They talk about the Blue Book, the 12-step program, AA, CA, and so on. I can tell you all right now, this ain't got nothing, that ain't got nothing on Alice Bailey's materials. Now, Alice Bailey's materials were the genesis of all these other wannabes materials. And what are they doing with these materials now? They're watering them down and they're adding their twist to it. I do everything I can not to water this stuff down and add my twist to it. I've got 2 children. Travis Martin, the jeweler, look him up on Instagram. He's a multi-millionaire and he's killing it. He's 32. And I've got another multi-millionaire who just finished going to his 90th country, who's only 30, and he runs this company right next door to me and Ashley when he's in town. And I can tell you right now, he can do this remotely, standing on his head. And it has a ton to do with the fact that they know these mantras. They know how to meditate. They know how to manifest this information and get what they want out of life. If you're not getting what you want out of your life, why don't you get a book? Why don't you go online? You can read them for free with an ebook. Get some motivational tapes. You're not a duck. You're not a goose. Ducks and geese, we all know they have to fly south for the winter. Fly, 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 fly. And they have to fly north for the summer. It's in their DNA. It's a survival mechanism. You don't. I didn't. So grab a book. 1984, I'm 23 years old. And I said to myself, I've had it. I was born in 1961. At 17 and a half, I had my first anxiety attack ever. Thank God my mom got me to a pediatrician that got me a pill called the Triavil. 45, 50 minutes later, I was able to go to my baseball game that night, and I didn't have any problems again for months. But then it came back with a vengeance, and it never stopped. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It did not allow me to go to work. I could not go to work. I was 18, I was 19, I was 20, I was 21, I was 22, I was 23. I couldn't go to college even though I went to college for 9 years. I never got a college degree because 9 out of 10 of the days, probably 70% of those days, I couldn't even go in. I was agoraphobic, living in my bedroom. And I can tell you all, I ran across some materials in 1984. John Bradshaw on the family. and Carolyn Mace on healing the chains that bind you, and it changed everything for me. I knew then, A, that I was a hypochondriac, B, that everything I was experiencing on this physical body or in this physical body had everything to do with what was going on in my mental parts of my body. And I dug in. One self-help book after another, after another, after another. Back then, we didn't have the luxury of Google. We had what was called the Dewey Decimal System, and we had to go to the library and look this stuff up. And trust me, folks, there were not a lot of self-help books in the early 80s. Nor were there a lot of self-help books in the late 80s. They started to show up in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. And by then I had hundreds of choices, thousands of choices. But what I found was this. They were in it to make the money. They weren't in it to help you and I. If you ever get a chance, you type in Stephen Covey, whatever you want to call him, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, this type of a book. Try reading it. I dare you to try reading it. You either have to be an analytical, someone with your CPA, someone with your lawyer title, someone with your MBA title, your master's degree title, or at least a BS, a 4-year degree. Because this is not simple material for comprehension. I tell you, folks, it left me corn-fused. That's what I used to tell my kids all the time. And they would giggle, your dad's confused. It left me confused. I've never been so confused. But what I found was that he had stolen material from Alice Bailey, the original. Why not get the material from the original? Bob Proctor stole it. I love Bob. He just recently died. I love John Bradshaw. He just recently died. We're losing some great people right now. And what I see right now more than ever is people that are no longer in a situation where they're saying, hey, this is where I got the material. What they're saying is, fork off some dough. Pay me $39.95. Pay me $3,650. I changed a testimonial today. Look, on blackenvelopes.com. It's down at the bottom. It's in blue. blackenvelopes.com. Go to the testimonial link. Look at the bottom. It's in blue. This man that is our number 4 producer, he went from number 31 producer last year to number 4. Again, he went from number 31 producer last year to number 4. And he wrote me a testimonial that you need to see. Look in there at that testimonial. And I can tell you this right now, folks. This material that you're part of, that's going on in your life, that you're paying money for, 99 out of 100 of them do not work, these platforms. He had been on The Wolf of Wall Street. Well, let's be honest with one another. Are you going to trust somebody that's been arrested for financial fraud? Well, Brett, what? He's just got some great sales techniques. He's a damn crook. That's what he is. And now he's worth $135 million. His name is Jordan Belfort, and he's a crook. He'll be a crook the rest of his life. And what is he doing? He's not teaching you how to advertise. He's not teaching you how to market. He's teaching you how to be a crook. This gentleman that took his course, that gave the testimonial, that's on my website, under testimonials in blue in the middle, he paid Jordan Belfort over $30,000. Can you imagine that for a minute? Over 128,000 of you have gone through my class. Imagine each and every one of you paid me 10 grand, 5 grand, 30 grand like this guy? $30,000. And he said when he got done, he knew he'd been had. Read the rest of the testimonial, because he didn't have any money to buy the black envelopes after he'd been through Jordan Belfort's class. Some of you don't know what The Wolf of Wall Street is. Think Margot Robbie and think Leonardo DiCaprio, that movie. That's Jordan Belfort. He's actually in the movie at the end, at the very end. He's a con man. That's what he is. He's an online con man. He travels all over the world. He stays in the most posh places on the planet, 5-star hotels. He eats the best food under the sun, and he feeds people full of crap. But what he does is he takes men and women who are lost. He provides a little bit of hope, maybe a lot of hope, maybe a medium amount of hope, depending on the person, because understand, they're looking, and they found him, and they tuned into him. But at the end of the day, folks, I've seen it happen in so many meetings over the years. You walk away, and all you are is motivated. You don't have anything to sell. He's selling you stuff. So if you're plugged into those types of platforms, they're the wrong platform. What you need is you need someone who can talk to you about how to get the job done. Now let's talk about getting the job done for a moment. Because I got to tell you something, folks. Make no mistake about it. I get the job done. Now I'm not saying that because I want to brag to you. You need to hear me for a minute. When I was a little boy, Chet Cowan came up to me and said, "You're going to be the captain of the baseball team." When I was a little boy, Larry Hermel came up to me during football season and said, "You're going to be the captain of the football team." When I was a little boy, Ken Schiller came up to me and said, "You're going to be the captain of the basketball team." I didn't know what that meant, but I learned really quickly what it meant. I would get in the huddle, and Kerry Angelos, Kelly Johnson, Mike Weaver, Mark Noble, Scott Stewart, Rod Raines would be freaking out. We're down by 3. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. And I would grab a knee. Maybe not physically every time, but I would grab a knee and like, guys, calm down. We've got this. We're going to be okay. Baseball, same thing. 9th inning, down by a run, 3-2 count, bases loaded. We get the last ups. We're the home team. Pitcher throws a wild pitch to me, cusses, kicks the mound. I'm the catcher of the team and the captain of the team. I'd run out and talk to Kerry Merritt. I'd run out and talk to David Grammel. I'd run out and talk to Rod Raines and be like, "Hey, whoa. This thing is not over, man. I'm up to bat 2 bats from now, and I want my bat. You get this guy out because I want my chance. You know me. If there's a way for me to find a way for us to get another run on the board, we're going to win this game. You get a strike across that plate. You get it in my mitt. Are we clear?" And I would calm him down with calming words, statements that make sense, ingredients that pertain to the moment. Same thing would transpire in football with Kerry Angelos, the quarterback. He would go into a complete freak out. You can look him up, by the way. His name is Kerry Angelos in Idaho. He's a con man, been arrested numerous times for building houses, and is still building houses and still ripping people off, even though he's been arrested multiple times. You see, folks, these people are quitters. And I would say to Kerry, "Calm down. Everything's okay." I was a fullback. Robbie McPherson was a slot back. We looked like twins in height and weight. And what we would do is we'd run a play. Or we'd block for Kerry. like a set of animals, like a set of beasts, like an iron wall, and he'd get the 2 yards, 3 yards we'd need. We'd toss in Weaver, we'd toss in Noble, and by God, the neighborhood would get it done. Now, you can look this up also. In 1980, we went on to the state finals at Rex Putnam High School. We played at the Rose Garden, back when it was the Rose Garden in Portland, and we played against McMinnville and a guy who went professional named Charlie Sitton, who was a god in high school. And I can remember after the first quarter, we were down by 19 points. But the funny part about it, the best part of it was, we didn't have any points. They had 19. And the coach called me over before we went into the locker, and he said to me, I need you to stick your foot right up their ass. I am not even going in the locker room for the next 5 minutes. But that's not what I did. That's not my style. That was his style. His name, by the way, was Don McCluskey, and he was a prick. He's dead because he was a prick. You can look up Rex Putnam High School and you'll see the gym named after Don McCluskey. He went to my church. He was toxic. He was mean, and he couldn't get results out of his kids. So he knew I needed to help. And I went in the locker room and I said to Weaver, I said, man, brother, I've been your neighbor since birth. You're one of the baddest dudes I've ever met in my life. I fear you, and I fear nobody. You know that. You know that I've got to bring my A game every time you and I put on the gloves. And we did, folks. We put on the gloves 1,000 times together, and we kicked each other's butt. We played pool, we fished, we hunted together, we lived together, we broke bread together. And I said to Weaver, I said, now more than ever, I need you to stand your ground. Sitting ain't got nothing on you but 2 inches. And then I turned over to Rich McKenzie and I said, McKenzie, you can jump out this gym. Nobody holds a candle to your ability to jump. You're going to block his shots. You forget about what the media said the last 3 weeks. You quit reading these articles in your brain and you get out on that field and you block that bastard's shots. And then I turned to my best buddy, David Bockham, and I said, listen to me, brother. They're going to get the rebound. Or you're going to get the rebound, and I'm going to be gone because I'm the fastest guy in the team. I was the fastest guy in the state, and I will be at the other end, throw the ball. I will get it. By the time we got to halftime, we were damn near tied. We live in a world where if you and I change the way we think, the results can change. If your life sucks, it's not my fault. If your life sucks, it's your fault. Look at this. When I point at you, you have to see these 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. They're pointed back at me. When I point at you, these 3 are pointed back at me. I have to make adjustments about me before I'm available for you or anyone else for that matter in a positive manner. Stop pointing fingers at me. Stop pointing fingers at this industry. Stop pointing fingers at these marketing concepts. They work. These advertising concepts, they work. You're pointing 3 back at yourself. You're not working them. And the entire time you are working them, if you are, you're just like Rich McKenzie, David Bockham, Michael Weaver, and Mark Noble when I started that game that day back in 1980 at the Rose Garden, going up against McMinnville and Charlie Sitton, who went on to be a pro basketball player, and all they could talk about was how good he was, how good he was, how good he was, how good he was. Listen, at one point, I can tell you all something. I had been playing basketball against Mike Weaver, and Mike Weaver was an icon. He was an animal. 6'7", 6'8". I grew up with him. I was only 5'10", 5'11", but I could jump. I had a 44-inch vertical jump. And I hung in there, and I was stronger than Mike with my body. And I hung in there, and I could push on him. And so there were a couple times where Weaver would say, shift, shift in the middle of the game, and I went up against Charlie Sinton. Charlie Sinton ain't got nothing on me. Nothing. I was a pain in his ass. I had my elbow right in his rib cage for every ounce it was worth, and that's all he kept paying attention to. He just kept swatting at my arm, swatting at my arm, swatting at my elbow, swatting at my elbow, swatting at my elbow. And pretty soon, sure enough, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 5. Couldn't get inside to get the dunk. That's the way advertising is. That's the way marketing is. You've got to gnaw at it. You've got to elbow it. You've got to headbutt it. You've got to take your glasses off once in a while and say to yourself, what the hell was that? What am I doing wrong? And what am I doing right? And you've got to hit it with your fist on the right, and you've got to hit it with your fist on your left. There's no way that these doors to success and the kingdom of success will become yours if you're blowing on the door, if you're making a half-ass effort, if you're not committed, if you have 2 circles drawn and you have 1 foot in this circle and another foot in this circle, the circle of commitment and the circle of doubt, non-committal, do you really think you deserve those doors to open? So how dare you email me or complain to anyone or go out there like people do and you're like, I'm going to show Brett. I'm going over here on this platform. I'm going to write bad about him, which brings us up. We got a guy in Southern California who wrote me a letter the other day. Rex, what a letter. What a letter. It started off so poetic. But then guess what Rex did? Rex had gone on to pay attention and invest his time in the what? 5%? 10% of the bullshit, BS, drama written about me or Ashley or her underwriting department. The complaint person. He's the complaint person. And as the email got going, 1 paragraph, 2, folks, right now you can probably see about a foot of me. Yeah, realistically, about a foot from here to here, from here to here. There was more than 2 or 3 feet of email of him complaining. He started small with some compliments, and then he got right into it. He only had 6 choices of emotions. 6 choices. And he went right after anger and disgust. And then what he did what we all do when we go after anger and disgust. He typed in jealousy. He typed in rage and all the feelings associated with those 2 emotions. And there are a lot of feelings associated with anger and disgust. It got so bad, what I usually write is see below, and then I go down and I put little statements next to what you've written, and then I read a little more, a little more, a little more. Put a little statement next to that, a little statement next to this, a little statement next to this. It got so bad after 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 statements I made, like 4 or 5, 6 word statements, great job, or, this sounds interesting, something like that, or, yeah, you should try that, or whatever. I actually said to him, I'm done. I'm not going to read on. I don't allow myself. You see, folks, I protect my brain. It's the only brain I have right now. I protect my heart. I can't have my heart be black energy, darkness, because darkness will prevail in a New York minute. It's like a light switch with me. It is like a light switch with me. And if it's like a light switch with me, I can't imagine you. Because I've been in therapy for over 42 years. I just finished my 800th biography here recently. I don't know how many self-help books I've read, but I can tell you this right now, folks. If you're Tiger Woods and you're standing at the tee box, If you're Nadia Comaneci, if you're Simone Biles, and the music starts, and you're getting ready to go into your routine, if you're Kobe Bryant when you were alive, and you're getting ready to shoot a free throw, and your mind is in the black, dark energy, saying this isn't going to work, it's not going to work. That's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. Tiger Woods is going to shank the ball. Tiger Woods is going to draw the ball too far. Tiger Woods is going to leave the ball out there somewhere. Kobe may airball the ball when he was alive. Simone may break a leg. You can't do this stuff without your mind in the right place. I made that very clear in class, so don't do it at that time. Shit, my God, go grab an 8-year-old kid to do it for you. You know the beauty of an 8-year-old kid? They're not toxic like you. They're not. They have 6 choices and emotions, and they have one thing they want to do. They want to eat a popsicle because it's fun. They're excited, they're happy. Happiness is an emotion they prefer. They want to go to the zoo. That creates happiness for them. They want to ride their bike. That creates happiness. They want to jump rope. That creates happiness for them. They like the thoughts of that. It provides hope. They can't wait to do it. They like to play cards. They like to draw. They like to watch their little cartoons. Watch them. They get excited. They get happy. Have them do your marketing. These business owners don't care. I've told you before, some of you, I've had kids in class, single digit in age. All you got to do is look up the dentist, Brady Frank, and he put all of his children through this. His oldest son was 15. His youngest son was 8. 3 of them were under 10 years old. They weren't even double digit. And the funny part about it is they were way more positive than about 30% of you. The other 68, 69, 70% of you, you're very positive. But believe me, folks, we all have our moments. So what do we do when we have our moments? A, don't get involved. B, don't point a finger at me. Don't point your finger at me. You got 3 pointing back at you. See, 1, 2, 3. Work on yourself. If your life is going crappy, I'd like to say shitty, but then everyone gets offended. If your life is going crappy, then just stop and do it later. But Brett, just do it later. But Brett, patience is a virtue. Do it later. I assure you, you cannot be in a situation where the sand falls through the hourglass for too long before you have to say to yourself, I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't be here anymore, Brett. All right, look, here's the thing. Last week, with my group I was training last week, I made an announcement. My chemo and my radiation beat the living hell out of me. A lot of you don't know this. Almost all of you do not know this. Last year at this time, I was 290 pounds. Today, I'm 186 pounds. Most people who lose 100 pounds in a year have issues. Now add to the fact that I had chemo and radiation for my cancer. I hurt all the time. But what they don't tell you when you have cancer, breast cancer, brain cancer, neck cancer, the 3 worst cancers. There's Jesus. My little Jesus I carry with me. You can call me whatever you want, you people. It doesn't matter to me. It's just a symbol. It keeps me straight and narrow. What they didn't tell me was that when they were done with me, when they said to me 3.5, 4 months ago, you've beaten cancer, it's in remission, you're done. What they didn't tell me was they did not have a system set up to get me off of the drug I was on, which is hydrocodone Bitarate, acetaminophen, that I take through my G-tube because it's a liquid. So last week on Sunday, I decided that's it, regardless of how painful it is in the future, my body hurting now, in the future, whenever, at the time, I'm going to quit using this drug. And in addition, I'm going to go through the detox portion of it. And the most famous detox portion I've ever seen on any movie was Johnny Cash's movie when Joaquin Phoenix played him with Reese Witherspoon, and they were in the bedroom and he was rolling around on the bed. So I decided to tell my wife and my children and my mom, this is what I'm going to do. So my mom and my wife stayed real close to me, and I went through the withdrawal symptoms, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. But I want to tell you something right now. My training kicked in. 6 primary emotions. Not once did anger kick in or disgust. Yeah, surprise kicked in once in a while. I was surprised that it was that bad. But happiness. I kept that in the big picture, happiness. Knowing that when I got this done, I would be happy. Not that I wasn't happy, but I would be happy and not feeling as bad as I did. Well, I woke up this morning, Sunday morning, and I feel great. I felt great all day. And the interesting thing about it is my body's not hurting like it was hurting when I was on the medicine. So who knows? Who knows? The body's an amazing thing, but it's gone. I'm detoxed. It's out of me. Some people say, oh, you got to be careful. It's going to happen for a month. Listen, folks, I went to hell. I came out of hell, and I feel great. If I go back into hell for another day or two, it doesn't matter. I'll still be teaching your class, because one of the things I want to let you know right now is I ain't bowing out to this cancer ever again. It's gone. It's behind me. I may have a toothache and I got to go to the dentist for that, but I'll wait. I'm a tough guy. I have responsibility, and I will be there for you. If you get a chance, go to my blog. Again, even though you've read it once maybe, and read it again. It's on the Mom and Pop Business Funding website, and it talks about how I became the GOAT. What you need to know about me, if you didn't hear me in class, is this. I never once sat down for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and marketed a specific piece of marketing or all of the marketing for that many hours. Not one time. Not at Smith Barney when I became the nation's largest producer, not in the mortgage industry when I became the nation's largest producer, and not in this industry when I became the largest producer. What was I doing? Ask me. I was fishing. I went fly fishing. I went hunting. I went duck hunting. I went pheasant hunting. I went to Travis's games, Grant's games. I bought them skateboards. I bought them bikes. I went on adventures with them throughout the day. There's times I would skip work for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I would go back to work. But when I was at work, I was giving 100%. I didn't talk to others. I didn't go out to lunch. I didn't hang out in a porn room somewhere at Cindy's Porn or, porn for lovers. I didn't hang out online looking at porn. I didn't gamble. I was at work and I was working. I was at the Chamber of Commerce. I was working. I was at the Rotary. I was working. I was going door to door to homeowners in the mortgage industry, to business owners in the stock brokerage industry, and to business owners in this industry. And I didn't let a damn thing get in my way when I was engaged. Nothing. So it was an incredibly productive 41 minutes, 59 minutes, 73 minutes, 119 minutes, 241 minutes, 380 minutes. And then I did what I also do in the real world other than work. I went home. I did my gutters, I mowed my lawn, I cleaned the pool, I cleaned the hot tub. I went shopping with my wife. I went places with our boys, and I did the daddy thing. I didn't lay on the couch and eat potato chips and drink Ham's beer or Rainier beer or Heineken or sip red wine all night, white wine all night, saying, oh my God, I had a hell of a day. Holy cow, what a day. Jesus, I had a hell of a day. Honey, can I tell you about my day? My God, what a day. Oh my God, what a day. Listen to me for a second. I am convinced in my heart of hearts, I've been here before. I believe in reincarnation 100%. I believe I'm here to do something that I didn't get done last time, and I can tell you all this right now. I have goosebumps talking about it right now. Look at my hair standing up. I want this lifetime. I begged for this lifetime, and I'm not going to leave a damn thing on the field, if you know what I mean. We get one chance each lifetime. We may get one chance only. I don't know. I love to watch these videos of men and women, read books of men and women who just know what's going to happen when we all die. They just know. Look, I've gone to church since I was born. I was baptized in the Milwaukee Lutheran Church. And yes, you know by now, I believe in God. But come on, folks. Come on. Some of this stuff is man-made and it's not for me. It's the reason why I left church after 23 years, because it was churchianity, not Christianity. And they were turning their nose up at me because I wasn't at church every Sunday. And I was a heathen. That's not the way the world works. I'm sorry, but it's not. What I want to do is I want to close by telling each and every one of you that I love you. I'm sorry if your life's not working out for you. I am. But I can tell you right now, if you're pointing a finger at someone and you got 3 pointing at yourself, it starts with you. Get some help. Get a doctor. Get a psychiatrist. Get a counselor on the phone. Get some help. Get a self-help book. They're everywhere. Get plugged into some positive influence and stay there. And use it like a nutrient that you're going to put in your mouth, like a vitamin, a mineral, copper, zinc, magnesium, so that you're no longer malnutritioned. So that when you do finally plug in and start to do a piece of marketing, all of a sudden you say to yourself, whoa, that was easy. It worked. Because don't ever forget I said this, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Peace, all of you. I love you.